First of all, a hearty welcome to all the sisters and brothers, all of you who are here, especially for Bap Dada's first meeting of the season. And I'm sure the love and enthusiasm with which you are all here, Baba would definitely give much more than expected. And the first thing is, Baba's meeting takes place in Om Shanti Bhavan, where you are able to be very close, physically very close to Baba, to receive drishti and to listen to Baba's versions. And not just versions. In silence, when Baba gives drishti, I think that is something everyone looks for. It becomes an experience, special experience of life, to feel so close, to experience that depth of silence in Baba's presence. I feel highly honored when I am always given this sacred opportunity to be with everyone, to share some of my experiences, especially my experiments with silence. I think I must have dealt with this subject, power of silence, for more than 50 times. But I am not tired. The more I discuss in the class or before discussion, when I go deeper and deeper in silence, I enjoy so much, because that takes me very close to Baba. In silence, the aim is to experience the company of the All-Powerful One. And in that consciousness, I feel the soul becomes firstly more aware of what power of silence is. And when it gets tuned fully to the tune or to the melody of Baba's own presence, very many similarities of Baba's own qualities develop in the soul, in the self. And the more the depth of that consciousness, deeper the experience. In that deep experience, the soul becomes totally free from the present, from the past, and not even worried about the future. It's something like the existence in present, enjoying that company. And in that company of the Supreme, in that Supreme Consciousness, all the powers of the Supreme Being, Supreme Father, Supreme Parents, or Supreme Father, Teacher, and Satguru, they are all experienced at the same time. It's a wonder how it works so deeply on the sanskars of the self. We all wish for transformation as fast as possible in the self, in the surroundings, in the world. It's only now we are able to see how the power of silence works in bringing about the change we all wish for. I used to think, wonder sometimes, why Baba insists so much on practicing silence. Watching Brahma Baba himself, spending so much time in silence, and at that time not understanding the depths of the experiences of silence. Sometimes while sitting in Baba's company or playing some games, indoor games, I remember I used to become little extrovert, laugh a lot in Baba's company because I used to feel very light in Baba's company. Baba's advice always would be not to laugh loudly, limit your words to the minimum. Anything you like to explain to Baba, say it in few words. But I remember we all had lengthy stories to share with Baba about the self, about the service, about certain happenings. And Baba's way of understanding what we were sharing was very different from the common people. He would listen for a while, and after a few sentences would say, "Okay, Baba understands what you are saying." Now I realize, after many, many years, how much time, how much energy is lost in talking, in unnecessary thinking, unnecessary planning also. Because before you speak, you plan it. A lot of churning goes on that, how to present your views. Whereas now I find the more the power of silence is developed within, it becomes very easy first to understand and grasp what the other person is saying, and to give the reply in one line, 2 lines. I don't say in 1 word or 2 words, but in a few lines. And that saves time again to go within and enjoy the depths of silence. It's a wonderful experience in silence. What I find, the more the self is tuned, consciously, silence is experienced even in sleep. And that is helpful to refresh us physically, to refresh us mentally. But in that silence, there is no transformation except the temporary change which we experience. Supposing you were very much occupied with some unnecessary thoughts throughout the day. When you go to sleep, first of all, it takes time to go into deep sleep. But after you have gone into deep sleep, and when you get up, you will find the intensity of the thought process which was there the previous day is gone. You hardly like to think anything about it, as if you have found the answers, or you don't feel that it's so important to continue to spend time on those thoughts. Whereas when we try to develop the spiritual power within in silence, the more time we spend in it, we find it is not enough. When we go to sleep, after 4 or 5 hours, you feel refreshed, you like to get up, you like to be active. Whereas when you have the sweet, sweet flavor of positive silence, sometimes we go into silence even under such circumstances when we feel under pressure, we feel little dejected, we don't like to answer certain questions, that also comes. Or some loss is there, something has happened, some accident has taken place. Those moments are also there. But that will not help in developing power of silence. Power is developed only when the mind is fully tuned. The thoughts are totally focused. Rather, there comes a time when the thoughts take the form of just a feeling. The feeling of being together, the feeling of being so elevated, the feeling of just being away from the conscious. but consciously you are away. Not like going into deep sleep. Sometimes while meditating in a group, some of the souls, they go into very deep silence, but the other people around, they feel that you are not enjoying that silence, which is meditative silence. It's a different kind of silence you are enjoying. Sometimes you may be nodding like this, you may be snoring. That silence is not going to help, especially when we sit together in a class and want to experience power of silence. Rather, that will be little objected to by the people around you. They may even try to awaken you at that time. Consciously, when we try to go in depth of silence, the process is very clear, very simple, but very effective. In this process, the first thing is visualization. Unless you are able to visualize yourself in your true form, unless you are able to visualize the supreme source of power in His true form, and unless you are able to visualize yourself in company of that source, the power of silence developed will not be very intense. It won't be very powerful experience. So the first requirement to develop power of silence is that you need to develop the art of visualization in meditation. I'm sure everyone who takes to Rajyogi meditation understands this aspect. Even when you start thinking and repeating the thoughts, who am I and who is the supreme source, the visualization starts taking place. Next step after that is using the power of positive thinking. Because they say, as you think, so you become. When you visualize, the first thing when you do, you get cut off from the rest of the world. You get cut off from the present. You get cut off from the past. That's the first step. And second is consciously you try to have positive thoughts. And those thoughts which develop power, little different from what we were doing while we were praying to God. They are in prayers, we always thought of God as the supreme being and very high, very great. But about the self, it was the thoughts were of low esteem. That never worked, that never helped, except that at that time, during prayers, there was absence of negativity. But the positive power was not developed during those times. And therefore, one has to be very careful when you want to develop power of silence. they need to be very positive thoughts about the self. About the Supreme, you always have positive thoughts. Third thing which comes in after the first and second step, you would feel you are little away from this world. You are really like a shining star. But then, that shining star needs to be visualized from a near distance, not from a far, far distant place. Your consciousness needs to fly with you away from this corporeal world. You need to see yourself far away, but a little enlarged form of the self. Just as we see the sun during the daytime, just as we see the moon, we do see the stars at night. No doubt we always remember the self like a star, but then the stars can also become like the sun as you go closer and closer to the stars. Similarly, go very close to your own real self. Just think how powerful the self can be, inheriting, receiving, developing and multiplying all the powers which we receive from Baba. It becomes a wonderful experience. Sometimes I feel it's uncontrollable feeling of tremendous power. What will you do at that time? If you want to keep multiplying that, your forehead will burst. So it's better to divert it for some good cause. It's like many times the people try to block the rivers. They build dams. What happens when there are very many heavy rains? The dams burst and they bring about destruction. It happened this year in Mount Abu. While coming up to Mount Abu, you might have crossed at least one place. It happened at 2-3 places, but at least one place where the road is not very good. Because there was one small dam built up on the hilltop, and because of heavy rains, it gave way and the entire collected water came down and damaged the road also. So what will you do when you develop such tremendous power? The power of silence, power in silence. On one side, it's helpful to the self for self-purification, sublimation, and divinization. But then the other side is using that, what Baba says, it's with the power of your silence, power of yoga, that actual purification of this world takes place. Transformation of this world takes place through the power of yoga. It is taking place. It is doing something very wonderful job, very incognito. It's difficult at this moment to put all those things together which can make you aware of what is happening with the power of silence of Brahmins and even others who may be practicing. But the ultimate transformation of the world depends on the final stage of power of silence, collective power of silence of all the Brahmins. So the fourth thing which we have to do while practicing silence is to divert our attention, divert our energy, divert our power to bring about the positive change in this world on many levels. The first level is to trigger positive thoughts in the minds of the other souls. That's a very subtle process. Many times we have found in our previous years of godly service, whenever we have yoga bhattis, whenever we have collective power of silence, it helps on a very high level in the work of re-establishment. It can help in changing the direction of the top people in their way of thinking. But first thing, it has to come in our own way of thinking. If we are all the time thinking about the top people in the world only bringing about destruction in this world, I don't think we can do the work of establishment. It's a very subtle point, very subtle thing to realize. If we want to bring about the change, because Brahmins are meant for a re-establishment. We are sons and daughters of Brahma. Brahma is responsible for a re-establishment of golden age. It's not the job of great uncle Shankar. That's different. That's not our job. For that there are other people. So this is a very subtle aspect of power of silence, how we use power of silence. Triggering the thought process of helping in God's work of re-establishment of goodness in this world, which we call golden age. For that, if our own vibrations of goodness, helpful attitude, that is there, it will definitely trigger this new thought process in the minds of many people around us. Many times, many such situations are there. And we have found that whenever we have collective meditation, it sends such vibrations all around. And the atmosphere changes. But we have not yet started that continuous process with that focus in mind. So far everyone is all the time concerned about bringing about the change within the self, changing the sanskaras, changing the attitudes, changing the situations, and even changing the premises of the centers. The power of silence for service of the world would work only when we use the minimum power of silence for the self and we transmit it to the whole world. There comes a time we start feeling that we are no more disturbed, no more upset, no more shaken by the negativity from within ourselves or by the negativity of other people. In a way, it's like nearing your stage of release or mukti, free completely from influences of negativity. After all, when we are in tune with our own Almighty Father, we have to think, reaching that stage of near equality. I don't say 100% equality. Near equality, what does it mean? Baba would never complain that Baba is disturbed by the influence of negativity around. Rather, Baba's presence would destroy the vibrations of negativity. So, reaching near about that stage, similar stage, almost equal stage means our presence should have such positive power that negativity is no more experienced, not only by us, by others around us. That's what happens. You will see it practically even tomorrow. When Baba comes, what happens? For hours together, you don't think even about negativity. Not just your own self, in the whole atmosphere. So when we all talk about Bap Saman stage, a stage which is like the stage of the Father, we have to see, does it happen when we are anywhere in the world, in any corner of the world? Are we able to do that? Are we able to remove the negative vibrations of that place? If not whole world, at least that place. Or we are still victims of negativity in the world. It requires very, very deep, long time practice. Practice of being the very source of positivity. Not just avoiding negativity, but becoming the source of positivity. Very powerful influence from our vibrations should be there wherever we go, wherever we are. And even if we don't go anywhere, from wherever we operate, we should be able to go beyond this world, beyond the vibrations of this world, and spread very powerful vibrations. This fourth aspect in meditation brings real experience of what power of silence is. And I'm sure every one of us are concerned about the negativity going around in the world. It's such a huge, huge contrast to what we have here when we are all together. Like-minded souls who are interested only in spiritual benefits in developing power of silence, in experiencing God's company. And you look at the newspapers, you look at the television, you listen to the radio, what news you hear, what news you see, what news you read. It's huge contrast. But the question is, we are not sannyasis. We are not putting on those red robes and sitting all by ourselves. We are in the world. We are Brahma Baba's children. We are meant to do something for the whole world. And for that you can imagine how much inner power is required. Not just to maintain ourselves in the right stature, right position, but at the same time creating powerful vibrations to help others. So this is the most opportune time to be in Madhuban, to develop that power internally, to experience practically, and take it with you when you go away from here, so that wherever you are, the process should continue. The visits to Madhuban are not limited only to refresh yourselves. They are connected with this godly process of transformation of the world. So it's the best time to see how far we are carrying out that work. The world requires our help. What I have found from time to time, you look at things, you feel like doing something which is unusual for the world. And I'm sure this process of developing power of inner silence, in inner silence, the minimum thoughts, just the thoughts of being in silence, but thoughts of being very powerful, thoughts of being like the Father, thoughts of being like the Son above there. After some time you will find you feel so elated, so light, and so much full of supersensuous joy, even when you are radiating such power. It's a very, very interesting subject, very beautiful subject. And I think only Brahmins can understand this subject, not other people. Though they try to be in silence, they don't know where to keep their minds. They keep on groping in the dark, searching. Many people do this practice of being in silence. But it's the silence of the mind. You can just detach from the present and see how the entire process of life is based on what we think. It's the thought. The main focus is coming to only one thought. And if your thoughts are powerful, then only the power of silence will develop. If the thoughts are weak, many times even Brahmins, when facing some difficulties, maybe from within, maybe from some others, they start expressing this. So this weakness, that weakness, it's difficult, I'm not able to do this. These thoughts will never bring you power of silence. No. Look at the positive developments which have taken place during your Brahmin life. Appreciate them. Smile a while. You will feel so light, then fly. Even the people, sometimes, I've seen sometimes on All India Radio, we have a special program every morning. It's the program of bhakti songs. And the commentator, while presenting that program, linking one bhajan with the other, one devotional song with the next, speaks such beautiful words. Unconsciously they do this. But Baba's children consciously can do this. Positive thoughts and powerful thoughts. But not just thoughts. Translate those thoughts into experience. And then see the result. You become the very experience yourself. You don't feel like thinking anymore. You just want to be that, full of light, might, happiness, super sensuous joy, and radiating your vibrations all the time. Wonderful, wonderful experience all the time. If you can start the day with this kind of meditation in the morning, throughout the day you will keep smiling and people will keep looking at you. These days you are taking pictures, then others will come and run after you to take pictures. Any questions? Because I was told today is the day of silence. If I keep talking, then where will be silence? Okay, then it's time to go beyond. The best thing we can do is to sit straight. Sometimes people think for relaxation it's better to sit like this or like this. That makes you feel more tired actually. Just for a little relaxation, I would tell you to please close your eyes. And open your eyes now. That's what I wanted. You should be smiling. Smiling makes you feel light. The fuel for flying in spiritual journey is smiling. Once you are full in meditation, you will smile naturally all the time. But till that time, it's better to create the thought. Look at yourself inside. And look at Baba. Baba used to say, first come to subtle worlds, and from there we go together. The ultimate destination is, of course, our sweet, sweet home of silence. I think we all can visualize ourselves far above, up there, from where we are able to visualize all the planets, all the stars, including this earth. Try to feel connected. Not with earth. Feel connected with your own real selves. And feel connected with the Supreme Parents. Feel the joy of being with them. Let that joy fill your hearts with happiness. And see how light you become. We are beings of light. Light in our thoughts. Lightful in our forms. Light because we are free from all burdens. Now in tune with our true nature. A being of light is so pure, so sublime. Under the direct influence of the company of the all-powerful Supreme Parents, conscious of receiving and retaining, developing and multiplying godly power, spiritual power.